Bros, and welcome to the All Bros podcast. I'm Jonathan.
Nah, I'm Caleb.
And we are a couple of aspiring filmmakers that love to watch and critique movies, but also enjoy a bit of the nerd life. This week on the podcast, we are actually joined by a special guest from Film on the Rocks. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks guys for having me. I'm Brucker, and I'm from Film on the Rocks. We are another movie podcast with a very different kind of format from you guys, but I'm really excited to be here. We like to have fun with movies, come up with drinking rules, break down the scenes, debate whether or not they deserve sequels. Are there any deeper messages? So yeah, that's kind of like what we do on our podcast, but I'm really excited for to come here and talk about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for joining us. So this week on the podcast, we'll be skipping over Adventures in Hunting. Don't really have anything to talk about with Pops or Blu-rays. With sneak peeks, this week's sneak peeks, we do have one trailer to talk about. Still nothing with what's in the box or anything like that.
AMC's trying.
That's true, they're trying. But, you know, I don't know what else to say to that.
But you know.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, after we talk about that one trailer, we will get into our breakdown of the evening, which will be our All Bros and Film on the Rocks breakdown of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Whoa!
So, yeah. What do you guys say we get started?
Let's do it.
All right.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Donnie, and I host the Adulting with Donnie podcast. And this is not the show to listen to if you're trying to be a better adult. I started this podcast as a way to offload some thoughts that I have throughout the week. My topics vary widely every week. Movies I've seen, guns and gun control, sex, people that are stupid, why I don't care about celebrity opinions, TV shows, snowmobiling. The list goes on and on. I'm always taking topic suggestions from fans of the show too. So join me each week on Adulting with Donnie as I pour some bourbon and allow you to see the inner workings of the mind of a madman. Live free and rant hard.
Alright, so, skipping over Adventures in Hunting, moving on to this week's sneak peeks. We got our first trailer for, what is the director's name? He plays the main guy.
Dude, his name's super weird.
Yeah, it was the same guy that did Murder on the Orient Express.
Yes.
Kenneth Branagh? Kenneth Branagh?
Oh, is it Kenneth Branagh? Is that how you pronounce it?
Branagh. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm illiterate.
I don't even know.
I forget about those silent G's and H's and words. Yeah. So this is the second film in his, I don't know if he's doing like a trilogy of these Agatha Christy novels, but I guess we'll find out how this one does at the box office.
Yeah, because when does this come out? It comes out in November?
No, October, actually.
October?
Yeah.
October 23rd.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So we'll see how it does. I mean, The New Mutants opens next week, so let's see how that does.
Ooh, shit.
And then I think the week after is Bill and Ted 3.
Bloody
but that
hell,
one's
dude.
also being released on demand, so.
Yeah, I feel like Bill and Ted's going to be the focal point that everyone's going to look to see how movies do being released in theaters versus on demand.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. Alright, what did you guys think of this trailer?
I think it piques my interest heavily. I mean, I love this genre of, whodunits and, Agatha Christie adaptations are, always, fun to kind of dive into, even though I didn't see Murder on the Orient Express, but I see it's the same director. So I would imagine that, I heard you guys talk about how you like this. I would imagine that it's pretty good. And his cast looks crazy good.
Oh my god. Yeah, the Murder on the Orient Express, that cast was insane too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad because I knew a lot more people in that movie than this one.
I mean, there's a decent amount. I mean, the biggest one that I saw was Gal Gadot.
Her and Armie Hammer are the biggest two for me.
Yeah, Armie Hammer's a big one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. Is it I'm like blanking on his name. Branson? Is it Charles Branson or the guy from Get Him to the Greek? I'm forgetting his name right now.
I've never seen that movie, so I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Now I'm the asshole. So. Man, he must not be in this movie because he must be really down on the list. Russell Brand, that's it. My bad. So yeah, Russell Brand's in it. I'm an idiot. Yes.
Oh shit.
Russell Brand's in it. You don't recognize him because he has a haircut and a beard, but yeah, he's in that movie.
Oh shit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I know now that you've said that, I know the cast that you're talking about from that movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, but I know the cast, and I was just like, I didn't recognize anyone from that. No, but what's the movie I know Russell Brand? Oh, I know him from Bedtime Stories.
Oh yeah, and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Yeah.
I think I know him from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I don't think I've ever seen Bedtime Stories.
He's funny. It's an Adam Sandler movie. It's Disney.
Okay.
I mean, that gives you all that you need to know.
I didn't think Adam Sandler would ever be in a Disney movie, but okay.
He definitely plays Adam Sandler in it.
I mean, is that... I don't know. I feel sometimes Adam Sandler gets way too much hate. And I grew up with the guy's movies, so I have a soft spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, of course, everybody loves 90s, Sandman, so that's what I like. It was pretty much, I think, kind of post-Click. But then Uncut Gems was great, so.
Still have not watched that, unfortunately.
It's on Netflix.
It's intense.
It is? Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's really intense. If you have a heart condition,
Shit. Uh-oh. Will I have an asthma attack during it? Will that happen?
I mean, you might. I don't know.
But anyway, getting back to Death on the Nile. Did Gal Gadot totally get rid of her accent in this? Because I didn't hear her accent at all.
I don't know if I heard anyone really besides the detective that's narrating the trailer.
That's fair. His voice is very powering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, he was also kind of more narration of the trailer. But she had this short little bit, but it was long enough, and I feel like I should have heard a lot more accent than I did.
I'm pretty
You think
sure
they would have let her keep it?
Yeah, but it seems like she is hiding her accent for this movie, which is really weird considering she didn't hide it for Wonder Woman.
I think it worked for Wonder Woman though.
Oh, it absolutely does.
And I think it would work for this. I haven't read the book Death on the Nile. Have either of you read it?
Nope.
No, we're uncultured.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Same. I wonder if, because I would assume, just kind of being region specific, maybe it would make sense to have an Israeli person in this movie, but maybe in the book none of the characters, maybe it's all people on on a trip abroad or something like that, so she has to fit into that sort of character. But I don't know.
Probably.
I haven't read the book, so people write into the All Bros if you actually know.
Yeah, if you're cultured, know what the hell you're talking about.
What's funny is after we saw Murder on the Orient Express, I told myself I'm totally gonna read this. Yeah, it never happened. Maybe someday.
Write into the All Bros if you're cultured.
Yeah. Right into the All Bros if you're cultured. I would be surprised if anyone that listens to our show wrote.
Man, way to make it depressing.
No, I'm sure there's one or two people, but
yeah,
I think they have better things to do. Unless they don't, I mean, everyone's trying to quarantine themselves. They could just be all right, let me educate these fools.
Right. I will say I do love the poster for it as well, because there's a lot of parallels between the poster for Death on the Nile and for Murder on the Orient Express, and that, it's both about traveling. We're both on two different modes of transportation, and the title of the movies are both in like the pillowing smoke from each like locomotive device, on the train and on the boat. The titles over the pillow smoke, which I'm like, oh, that's a cool little parallel thing that the creatives came up with.
I agree. Okay, I don't know how many he's gonna make of these, but can they do like a steelbook set with all of these as the covers? Because that would just line up so beautifully.
Dude, you're such a steelbook whore.
Shut up.
I was thinking, because the only other like Agatha Christie book I could think of besides like, And Then There Were None is Murder on the Links. So I was just thinking like them a pillowing smoke coming from like the golf cart or something. Which I think it's written in a time when there were no golf carts. So
yeah, I don't know what else they could do. Maybe like a blimp?
Sure, yeah, let's go with that.
Murder on the Blimp, the shortest book ever written.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. But this looks good.
Yeah.
I mean, with how much I enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express, I'm definitely going to be checking this one out.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I just don't know if I'll go see it in theaters.
Yeah, as much as I love whodunits, definitely checking this out.
Yeah. I really like, I don't know why, but I'm always, hesitant about going to see, murder mystery movies. I was super hesitant about going to see Knives Out, but I really enjoy them at the same time.
They are really fun movies. You just better hope
they're really
spoiled for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're really fun, especially, what Rose was saying, as long as it's not spoiled for you. And also if it's written well, like Knives Out was written ingeniously. But sometimes that Netflix movie with Adam Sandler and that Netflix movie with Adam Sandler that came out, I think it was called Murder Mystery. But it was not great. So
yeah, that one was lazy.
Yeah, that's basically just Adam Sandler going, I want to go to Europe, so I'm going to pay for
Pretty
it.
much. That is exactly what that was.
Isn't that kind of like how the story for Grown Ups came? He's just like, you know what, I want to make a movie with my best friends.
Yeah, basically. Pretty much any movie he's done, in the 2000s, 50 First Dates. I want to go to Hawaii with Drew Barrymore. Yeah, that sounds fun. So
yeah, bam.
Gosh, could you imagine having that kind of influence and money?
I know, right? No kidding. Or you're just like, bam, I want an animated film about me. Bam, 8 Crazy Nights.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm still convinced that Jack and Jill was a movie that someone bet him he couldn't make.
I sure
And
hope it was.
someone's just like, hey, if you made a movie like this, I think he was drinking with some buddies and was talking about this outrageous movie, and he's like, yeah, what if I was my own twin sister? And then someone's like, dude, no one would go see that. And then he sobered up, and then he's yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Freaking bet, dude. And then he did.
And it made, I don't know how much it made at the box office.
Whatever it made, it was too much.
Exactly.
Oh, shit.
Dude, I think I've watched 10 minutes of that movie.
I've unfortunately seen the whole thing.
I saw
that was
half the
sad.
trailer.
Let's just say I'll never look at Al Pacino the same way again.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, no.
Have you guys never seen the Dunkachino thing?
What?
Yeah. Basically, long story short, Al Pacino likes Adam Sandler's twin sister. So basically, Adam Sandler says, hey, I'll hook you up with her if you do this Dunkin' Donuts commercial for me, because they have a new drink called the Dunkachino.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So it's Al Pacino endorsing or promoting the Dunkachino.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, they do turn it into a funny joke, though, at the end, because he's just like, how many copies of this are there? And he's just like, just this one. He's like, burn it. No one else can ever see this.
That's fantastic.
So That's like the only funny part of the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Dude, Adam Sandler's also the only person I feel I can get serious, good actors to do stupid shit.
you're not wrong.
Like, I'm trying to think of, like maybe, like, with Just Go With It. Like, I'm not saying, like, she's a serious actress. Well, depending on how you look at it. But, like, Brooklyn Decker.
I've never seen Just Go With It, so...
Oh. Have you seen...
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah, so... yeah, so seeing... Or having... Nick Swardson freaking, like... drown her.
Jeez.
Or, like, practically drown her.
Yeah, and like in that Netflix movie I was talking about, Jennifer Aniston, that's who I couldn't think of. Yeah, she's in that movie with him too. So it's, I don't know what, he just has this pull. I guess it's because he's a funny guy, and they're like, yeah, we'll just be laughing on the set the whole time, sure. And they're like, who's going to see it? Right? You know, they tell me the concept. Oh, it's about you play yourself and your twin sister. Nobody's going to see that. Sure, I'll be in this.
Yeah, like that. I'm pretty sure that's like most of his movies.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, I have a love-hate relationship with Adam Sandler movies. Like, some of them are really funny, and then like some of them just like, gosh, this was stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I actually love the first Grown Ups movie. It's one of my favorite Adam Sandler movies, but I hate the second one. I think it's awful.
Yeah.
There was no point for that movie to be made. I mean, you could say the same thing about the first one, but
Yeah, I was going to say. I saw it once, and I just don't think I could get over the whole, like, Kevin James's kid, like, still breastfeeding, and he's, like, 8 or something in that movie, and, yeah, I don't know if I could get over that.
that was kind of weird.
Dude, have you ever met someone that did?
No.
Yeah, it's not anything that it's just like, oh, maybe you can tell. Just like the type of person you're just like, oh yeah, you breastfed way too long.
Yeah, they really make that kid dumb in the second one. Like, shit.
That's the message you need to send. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, just breastfeed as long as you need to and then stop.
Yeah.
Just, oh my gosh. But no joke, I've met like 5 or 6 people that it's so weird because they brag about it. Like, they were talking, they're like,
I mean, I've never bragged about it. Just kidding.
Jeez.
Dude, the show is just about to be over.
I just wanted to see your guys' reactions. Oh.
Gosh, that silence is just like, oh, this got awkward.
So, Rose, how much have you been holding out on me? Got anything else?
No, but it's just like these conversations I've gotten into with, like, this was before I had a kid, with just some like random people. I'm like, oh, my wife's expecting a kid, and then they start talking to me about that, and then they get to like that point where they talk about breastfeeding, and then they talk about how long, and I'm just like, okay, and then like you'll have some rando come in and be like, oh yeah, I breastfed till I was like 6, and I'm like, you're weird.
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, and I seriously had one dude come up and say he went he did that until he was 7, and the guy I was talking to looked at him and said, you know what? Not even a little bit surprised.
That's fantastic.
Oh shit, that's great.
Yeah. What's terrifying is that those people are usually put in charge of shit they should not be in charge of.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely not wrong.
How did we get here?
I don't know.
Adam Sandler, and then I brought up Kevin James, and then Rose told us about his past, and then yeah, so that's where.
And here we are. So, okay, getting back to the trailer, do you guys have anything else to say about Death on the Nile?
I don't. You?
It looks pretty good. looks really good. I'm excited to see it. It's like one of those trailers that doesn't give away too much. It definitely shows you some tension that may already be there between some characters. So, and I think that's kind of like all that you need, really.
Yeah.
And you also don't know who. I mean, if you haven't read the book, like me, you also nothing's spoiled about this, like who was actually murdered. So, like all the characters you see are kind of up on the hit list. So, I'm excited to see it.
Will this be are you guys gonna check this out in theaters or wait for it to come to VOD, DVD, whatever you want to say?
I might be doing the VOD just because I'm surrounded by a bunch of irresponsible fuckers. So,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Like it's.
I don't know if I still don't know if I want to go to a movie theater yet.
Yeah, I'm not quite at that point. Like
Before
I
all
miss the
this?
theater experience, but I mean, honestly, I feel like I can make up my own little theater experience and be fine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm about to sound like the worst movie fan, but I already didn't care to go to the movie theaters like before all this, just because it's always a gamble of like, okay, what kind of assholes you're going to have in there? Like who, you're kind of like looking at everyone as they walk in, like, oh, that guy's a talker. You can just see it on his face. And so it just like the last movie I went to go see in theaters was Knives Out, and two people were like just talking so loud throughout the whole movie that the manager had to come in like 2 or 3 times. It was, and you don't have to deal with that when you're at home. I'm just saying. So I'm so jaded about it. I'm just like, fuck high schoolers. And like, I just like, I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to come into a movie theater until you're 30. So that's
Or if you come in with like a big group of like young people, they should have like old grandparents on call, and then like they have to separate them.
No, like you got to stagger that. Like you're going to the 2:00 showing, you're going to the 4:00 showing, you're going to the 6:00 showing, and that's it.
You're gonna like it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of the last movie I went to go see in theaters was Sonic the Hedgehog, and the dudes that were sitting behind me were laughing excessively loud. And
Wait, I thought the last movie you saw was Onward. Because didn't you see Sonic before Onward?
I actually saw Onward before Sonic.
Oh. Well, shit. Okay, so both of our last movies was Sonic.
So fuck you,
Yep.
Rose. You're wrong.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Thanks for having me on,
because
by
we
the way.
didn't even see it together. Wait, what?
I said thanks for having me on, by the way.
Of course. No, but seriously though, F me, considering we didn't even see Sonic together.
No, that was planned out because it was like right after that they closed the theaters, or shortly after.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, and I went to go see it the day before we were recording our
But
episode.
I thought you saw Sonic like a week after it came out, and I didn't see Sonic until a couple weeks after it came out.
No, it was like right before our episode
Huh, alright.
that I went to go see it, and then I went to go see Onward before that, because we had the
Because
episode.
we saw Onward on your birthday.
Yeah, and then I went to go see Sonic a couple days later,
Oh.
or a week later, I think.
Okay, apparently I don't know time. My bad.
Apparently you don't. All right, so 1 out of 10 for Death on the Nile.
8.
That's about where I'm at too.
Yep, I was going to say 8 as well.
Nice.
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What do you guys say we jump into our main event of the evening?
Yep.
Do it.
Time for the main event.
It's main event time.
Let's play a game.
All right. So before we jump into our main event of the evening, we asked a question on our social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram what your favorite Quentin Tarantino film is, and we got a couple responses. Caleb, would you like to read those off?
Yes, I would. So I'm going to start off on Twitter, since that's where we got like 90% of our responses. So first up, we got Jat Jack Meat Sing at Michael_Aaron. He said, every answer should be Pulp Fiction, but I'll also accept Inglourious Bastards.
Well, he's going to hate my answer then.
What's yours?
Probably this movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Fair. Yeah, what about you? What's yours?
I'm kind of stuck between this. I think I agree with Rose. It's probably this, but Inglourious Bastards is really. It kind of just depends what kind of mood I'm in. Do I want to hang out or do I want to watch people get scalped? So, but
all right, fair.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like a 1A 1B situation, really, in my opinion. But that's just because I have a hard time picking favorite movies because again, it's like what mood am I in? So,
all right.
Yeah, I
hate commitment like that.
I've become a real big Quentin Tarantino fan because the first one I watched was, I think it was Pulp Fiction. Oh no, I saw Django, loved that, and then was just kind of putting Pulp Fiction on hold forever, which I don't know why now that I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started watching that, and I was just like, oh, I need to watch the rest of them. So I watched Kill Bill after that, Inglourious Bastards shortly after that, then Reservoir Dogs, and yeah, I just went freaking crazy.
Yeah, I still need to complete my list. I've only seen like 4 or 5 of his movies. I haven't seen all of them.
You guys got me beat. I've only seen 2.
Oh, well, there
Jeez,
you go.
Dude.
I know.
Yeah. Next up, we got Tony Blundetto at Will Sutton78. He said the one with feet in it.
Oh, well, that's clear.
Yeah.
Is the least feet one Django? I think that's the least feet one, possibly. It's been forever since I've seen that, but I feel like just based on his criteria, that might knock it down to the bottom.
Yeah, I think I don't even remember seeing feet in Reservoir Dogs.
That's a good one because
Pulp Fiction, I did.
Oh yeah, definitely Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Django, you do get some feet. Inglourious Bastards. I want to say yes.
There's like one female character, and she is barefoot when she's running from them in the beginning of the movie, I think. So maybe that counts. I don't know.
Okay, so all of them except Reservoir Dogs.
Because don't the Mance are? Is that spoiler?
I don't think so.
Okay, the Manson kids aren't most of them barefoot and.
Most of them are, and then Margot Robbie's or Sharon Tate is barefoot.
Okay.
In the theater, which oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I've seen barefoot people in the movie theater, and I want to freaking blow my top.
Again, man. I mean, that doesn't happen in your house. I mean,
it does, but it's like my
your
feet or my wife's feet.
Yeah. It's not the fucker's feet. Yeah, it's.
I actually posted that picture on Instagram.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember.
I was just
that.
like, these people.
What movie did you see?
I forget. It was one with Brielle. I forget the movie though. But yeah, I snapped a picture of this chick with her feet out and was just like, I hate these people.
It's like, and this is what's wrong with America.
Yeah, but dude, I was making it blatantly obvious that I was posting about her feet because I did it right next to her. And I don't think she saw.
I was going to say, you definitely seemed like you had ulterior motives there from a outside third party. Yeah, that definitely looked like it would have been for something else, though.
Moving on.
Oh, shit.
Next, we got the Screen Forum podcast at Screen Forum Pod. He said, in my opinion, Pulp Fiction still reigns. Django is the closest second.
Fair.
Right.
I mean, I feel like there's not an incorrect answer to this.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Next up, we got Subin Sunil at Subin KRL. He said Pulp Fiction. Next, we got We Get Dubbed podcast at We Get Dubbed. Said probably an unpopular choice, but I loved The Hateful Eight.
No, I haven't seen that, but from what I've seen...
Oh, that wasn't one of the 2 movies that you've
Shut
seen
up,
of his?
Smartass. Shut up. It's only Pulp Fiction and Once Upon a Time, okay, asshole? But from the looks of it, it doesn't look like that movie gets enough love. Okay, Caleb?
I hear it's very dialogue heavy.
Yeah, but Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
I know, but it's still... Like,
Okay.
it's not that the dialogue's bad. It's just, it's very dialogue heavy.
Okay.
Like, Reservoir Dogs is very dialogue heavy.
Mm-hmm. And that could sometimes work. I've heard, I personally haven't seen The Hateful Eight, but from the people that I know that have seen it, it's kind of like mixed. It's kind of like, eh. But again, I haven't seen it. And the movie that we're going to be talking about today is like pretty mixed views as well. So,
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Next up, we got Believer/Skeptic podcast at BS Pod PHX. They said Kill Bill.
Volume 1 or 2?
They said Kill Bill.
You guys should totally respond back to us, because I'm actually very interested to see if it's Volume 1 or 2. Even though I haven't seen either.
Yeah, I've watched both of them, and they're both awesome. I wonder if it was...
So maybe they meant both.
It could have been.
And
like, maybe
we
it
will
was...
take that
Well,
answer.
isn't there a version of Kill Bill where it's all of it at one time?
I don't think so. If there is, that's
Beats
the first
me.
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I thought there was always just Kill Bill Volume 1 and Kill Bill Volume 2.
Okay. Well, Kill Bill. Next up, we got Donnie at Adulting with Donnie. Or just at Adulting Donnie. He says, when he only has 17 movies, it should be easy, but it's actually not. There's 3 or 4 good choices in there. For me, it's an even tie with Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, and Sin City. Probably leaning to Sin City because Jessica Alba.
Okay, Donnie, you're gonna hate us for this, but we have to call you out for this. So he was actually a special guest director for Sin City.
It counts.
Okay, no, it still counts. But I'm just saying he didn't direct it. He was a special guest director, and he only has 9 films, not 17. But we still.
Well, he has writing credits.
Okay, writing credit. I thought we were like referring to. Oh shit! I touched the mic. Sorry.
Dude, I will freaking kill you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought we were referring to just movies he's directed.
Well, we just said Quentin Tarantino films. We didn't necessarily specify that it had to be the ones that he...
That's true. Okay, well, I'm gonna retract everything that I just said, Donnie, because Caleb just made me feel like an asshole. I'm just kidding. So, excellent answer.
Yeah. Jessica Alba's super hot in that, though.
I mean, when is Jessica Alba not hot?
There's a movie with Paul Walker that she was like, in.
Wow.
Next up we got What Were They Thinking at WWTT Podcast. They said, my sentimental favorite may be Pulp Fiction, but it also might be Inglourious Bastards. I dislike none of them. All great.
That, you know what? Excellent answer.
It's a good take.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Next up, we got the #NoOffense show at HTNOS. They said Kill Bill, and they threw in some really cool things that they have like with Kill Bill. So they met David Carradine before he died, have his autograph displayed in their studio, and got a set of Hattori Hanzo swords as a wedding gift.
That's
Damn.
awesome. That's legit.
Yeah, that is freaking awesome.
Do you think that they were fans of Quentin Tarantino before then or after then? It's like, oh, I guess now we gotta be fans of him.
You know what? It could go either way, but just like the little chat that I had with them, they seemed like they were pretty big Kill Bill fans, so I'm assuming it was before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because you don't become a fan after getting swords as a wedding gift. I feel like that's something.
What are you going to do? Throw away swords?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, all right, well, I guess it's either Last Samurai or Kill Bill, honey. Which one do you want to do?
Just pick a theme. Next up, we got Renegade Zellweger at Earth to Adam. He said, Django Unchained, hands down. Christoph Waltz is amazing. It's 2 entirely different movies put together that could have been a part 1 and 2 standalone. Quentin Tarantino is a master of his craft, and Django is his take on a Western, and he hammers it home. An all-time top 5 favorite of mine. Also, Inglourious Basterds is tremendous.
And Christoph Waltz is amazing in Inglourious Basterds as well.
Oh, what was I going to use him in? So with the casting. Yeah, so I was going to use him as Red.
Oh my goodness. I like that.
Yeah, but I liked it too, but I felt like James Spader's voice works better as narration. Because, it's so hard to find someone that matches the narration tone of Morgan Freeman. And I feel like James Spader's just, Shakespearean enough to pull that off. I know Christoph Waltz could have done it, but it's just James Spader I like a little bit more.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, moving on. We got Bethany at The Queen for Real, host of The Untrained Eye. She said, that is a great question. I'm going to go with Jackie Brown. Then she said, come on, son. Robert Forster as Max Cherry. GTFOH. Yeah. I have not seen Jackie Brown.
I haven't either.
I haven't either.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you just said the only 2 Quentin movies you've seen is Pulp Fiction and Once Upon a Time.
Hey, your story is staying straight, Rose. If this were interrogation, you would be passing with flying colors. But we're still watching you. We're still watching you, so you better keep...
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next up, we got Dr. Zick Vieira at Cosa del Pantano. They said Pulp Fiction. Classic choice. Gosh, do you have our Twitter pulled up? I forgot it in someone's answer.
Yeah, I can see that.
I forgot to type it in. I put their name, but I forgot to type it in.
You asshole. I don't think I actually do.
Well, I'll look it up real quick. Next up, we got Susan Cartwright at Susan Cartwright 3. She said the Western that starred Kurt Russell and Samuel L. Jackson. So I believe she's talking about the Hateful Eight. Next up, we got the Animated Gamers podcast at gamers_animated. And he said, I'm going to be basic and nominate Pulp Fiction. And then he shared the sequence when they're at the dude's house with the dude that they shot in the back of the car.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with the guy that makes perfect coffee.
Yep. Next up, we got Cassidy Robinson at VC Cassidy. She said, Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction, I think, is the one that we got the most on. I think it's between Pulp Fiction and Inglourious Basterds.
I mean, I feel if you see one Quentin Tarantino movie in your life, everyone usually says Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. And that one's also the one that's just so ubiquitous in pop culture as well. Because, I mean, there's the poster for it. That's a very popular movie poster as well for that movie. There's a lot of references to that. And, it has stars that people still are familiar with, including Quentin Tarantino, of course, Samuel L. Jackson, John Travolta. Is Uma Thurman in that one, or am I getting it confused with Kill Bill?
No, she is in that one. She is.
Or she might be in both.
Wife. She is in both.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's been a while since I've seen Pulp Fiction. But yeah, so, it's just kind of like one of those things. It's just so ubiquitous. It's kind of like when people think about Star Wars, they probably think about A New Hope. Like the first poster that comes to their mind is that movie, probably. I'm just spitballing, but yeah. So
yeah. All right. Next up, we got Dr. Neil Buttery at Neil Buttery. He said, best or favorite? He says, best Kill Bill, favorite Inglourious Bastards.
I get that. I totally get that dude's ranking. If there is a clear best one, but then there is your personal favorite. I totally get that.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, we got LaFronda Stum at LaFronda_Stum. She said Pulp Fiction. Next, we got Zach at Mr. J831. He said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Woo woo!
Hell yeah. We got Drew Davis at the Max Digital. Said Pulp Fiction, the film that turned him into a film geek. And I feel like I was a bit of a film geek before that movie, but I think I got more so with that one. Because I'm just like, what is happening?
You can write movies backwards? What?
Yeah, no joke. Next we got Fabricio at Real Fabo. He said Jackie Brown by far. Again, haven't seen Jackie Brown, but it's been on my list.
I haven't either, but one of my friends, he's a big QT guy, and he said Jackie Brown was actually his personal favorite QT movie as well.
Yeah, gosh, I want to see that now so bad. Like, with all the people that have said that, like, I've had little conversations with the people on Twitter, and from what they've said, it really makes me want to go see it. And speaking of Jackie Brown, the D213 at the_D_213 said Jackie Brown is the bomb.
Well, there you go.
I wouldn't know, but it seems like it is.
All right, that checks out. Rose, you get to live for another segment.
Yes.
All right, next we got GS Vikram at Kathy_here. Death Proof.
Ooh, that's topical to this movie because that's where he got the idea for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood while making that movie.
Interesting. I've not seen Death Proof.
I haven't either.
Right.
Damn it, Jonathan. Damn it, Rose.
Dude, at least you're consistent.
That's true. I mean,
yeah. Every time he does that, just like picture me in a little notebook going.
Hell, listen back to this and with what goes along with your show, Drinking Rules. Anytime Rose says, like, haven't seen it, but I have seen Pulp Fiction and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
every time Rose reminds the audience of his filmography, yeah. Your Letterboxd diary is those two entries every day. It's just
oh shit.
Next up we got Cardo at Cardo Gardy. They just said hard to choose. And I don't think they ended up choosing.
Well, fuck
Damn
you
it.
then. Jeez, I'm just kidding. Decisions are
difficult.
Tough.
It is difficult. Like, once you watch all of his movies, it progressively gets harder to rank them, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say anything.
You don't have to. We know what you were about to say.
Okay, good.
Wait, no,
next...
I'm lost. I'm just kidding.
Next, we got the Bastard Street Choir at Tyler J. Kerr, 27. Said if we can include screenwriting credits, which we can. They said From Dusk Till Dawn is pretty badass.
So this guy has bastard in his name, and he didn't choose Inglourious Bastards.
Well, it's his street choir.
I'm just kidding. So yeah, From Dusk Till Dawn's great. Yeah. And that one is feet positive, very much so. So. I'm sorry, Rose, you wouldn't know, but yeah, that's a.
I wouldn't. You got that right.
Next, we got Art House Film Wire at Art House Film Wire said Pulp Fiction. Then we got, I'm assuming it's Sharon at Callie Sharon MD. They said Pulp Fiction, Django, Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastards, Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
A lot of favorites.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was in order.
If that's in order, sad.
Well, Pulp Fiction's at the top.
Yeah, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's at the bottom.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Next, we got Sebastiano at Seba Lions. He said Jackie Brown.
Still not going to say anything.
Dude, I give you that little pause just so like everyone knows you haven't seen it.
Smart ass.
Your story isn't staying straight anymore, Rose.
Shit.
Gotta
work on it.
Next, we get Better Than Human at Better Than Huma 1. They said Kill Bill.
I still want to know, volume 1 or 2.
And you're going to keep wondering because the next response we got is from Dennis Smith at Dennis A. Smith. He also said Kill Bill.
Gosh freaking damn it, people.
It would have been amazing if they just said Volume 1 with no movie title, and Rose was like, to which movie? To which movie?
And then our last response from Twitter is from Playbuck at Playbuck_PH. He said, Inglourious Bastards, for sure.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Then moving on to Instagram, we got Failing Hollywood. They said Inglourious Bastards. And then some weird stranger, Film on the Rocks, said probably this.
He's got good taste. Yeah, he's got good taste.
I like that guy.
Hell yeah. And that is all of our responses. So thank you to everyone for answering our question of the week and giving us a whole hell of a lot to talk about.
Yes, yeah, it really helped us get it out of Rose what all he's seen. It was very helpful. You guys really grilled him good. Thank you.
No comment. No comment.
Thanks again for having me on, Rose and Caleb. I'm happy to
yeah, of course.
All right, with that, I think we can get into our breakdown, finally, of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Woo woo.
So, if you are new to our breakdown system, we have split movies into 8 different categories that we individually grade to come to a final All Bros and Film on the Rocks score. So we grade story, writing, acting, character development, effects, music, costumes, and then at the end we give it an overall genre grade. So just our personal grade.
Mm-hmm.
Just so we can throw in our bias in a little bit.
Yes.
So with that, Rose is going to read us a synopsis of the story. If you have not seen the movie, go check it out. And if you continue to listen after this, it's your own damn fault the movie was spoiled.
Yeah. Especially the ending.
Yeah. Good fucking luck with this synopsis, Rose. This is I'm like getting my popcorn just to watch you try to do this. I'm glad I don't
time for reading with Rose.
All right. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, I gotta clear my throat.
Yeah. All
right, here we go. In February 1969, veteran Hollywood actor Rick Dalton, star of 1950s Western television series, I'm already effing it up, television series Bounty Law, fears his career is fading. Casting agent Marvin Schwartz recommends he make spaghetti westerns in Italy, which Dalton feels are beneath him. Dalton's best friend and stunt double, Cliff Booth, a war veteran skilled in hand-to-hand combat, who lives in a tiny trailer with his pit bull, Brandy, drives Dalton around Los Angeles because Dalton's driver's license has been suspended due to his DUI arrests. Booth struggles to find stunt work in Hollywood because of rumors he murdered his wife. Actress Sharon Tate and her husband, director Roman Polanski, have moved next door to Dalton, who dreams of befriending them to revive his declining acting career. That night, Tate and Polanski attend a celebrity-filled party at the Playboy Mansion. The next day, while repairing Dalton's TV antenna, Booth reminisces about a sparring contest he had with Bruce Lee on the set of The Green Hornet, which resulted in Booth being fired. Meanwhile, Charles Manson stops by the Polanski residence looking for producer Terry Melcher, who used to live there but is turned away by Jay Sebring. Tate goes for errands and stops at a movie theater to watch herself in the film The Wrecking Crew. Dalton is cast to play the villain in the pilot of the Western television series Lancer and strikes up a conversation with his 8-year-old co-star, Trudy Fraser. During filming, Dalton struggles to remember his lines and suffers a violent breakdown later in his trailer as a result. He subsequently delivers a strong performance that impresses Fraser and the director Sam Wanamaker, bolstering his confidence. While driving Dalton's car, Booth picks up a female hitchhiker named Pussycat, whom he takes to Spawn Ranch, where Booth once worked on the set of Bounty Law. He takes notice of the many hippies living there, the Manson family, suspecting they may be taking advantage of the ranch's owner, George Spawn. Oh my gosh. Suspecting they may be taking advantage of the ranch. We're almost done. Alright, so suspecting they may be taking advantage of the ranch's owner, George Spawn, Booth insists on checking on him despite Squeaky Fromm's objections. Booth finally speaks with Spawn, who dismisses his concerns. Upon leaving, Booth discovers that Steve Clem Grogan has slashed a tire on Dalton's car. Booth beats him and forces him to change the tire. That was freaking fantastic. I love that scene. Tex Watson, however the hell you say it, is summoned to deal with the situation, but he arrives as Booth is driving away. After watching Dalton's guest performance on an episode of The FBI, Schwartz books him as the lead in Sergio Corbucci's next spaghetti western, Nebraska Jim. Dalton takes Booth with him for a 6-month stint in Italy, during which time he films 2 additional westerns and a Euripsy comedy, and marries Italian starlet Francesca Capucci. Is it Capucci?
Sure.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Making me feel so confident with myself. Thanks, Albers. With a new wife, Dalton informs Booth he can no longer afford his services. On the evening of August 8th, 1969, their first day back in Los Angeles, Dalton, oh my goodness. Dalton and Booth go out for drinks to commemorate their time working together, and then return to Dalton's house. Tate and Sebring go out for dinner with friends and then return to Tate's house. Booth smokes an LSD-laced cigarette purchased earlier from a hippie girl and takes Brandy for a walk while Dalton prepares drinks. Manson family members Tex, Sadie, Flowerchild, and Katie arrive outside in preparation to murder everyone in Tate's house, but Dalton hears their loud car and orders them off his street. Recognizing Dalton, the Manson family members change their plans and decide to kill him instead, after Sadie reasons that Hollywood has taught them to murder. Flowerchild deserts the group, speeding off with their car. Breaking into Dalton's house, they confront Capucci and Booth inside. Booth recognizes them from his visit to Spawn Ranch and orders Brandy to attack. Together, they kill Katie and Tex and injure Sadie, though Booth is stabbed, shot, and left unconscious during the altercation. Sadie stumbles outside, alarming Dalton, who was in his pool listening to music on his headphones, oblivious to the melee inside. Dalton retrieves a flamethrower previously used in a movie and incinerates Sadie. After Booth is taken away by ambulance to receive treatment for his injuries, Sebring engages Dalton in conversation outside, and Dalton receives an invitation for a drink with Tate and her friends at her house, which he accepts. And scene! Thank you.
I mean, you've definitely done worse.
That was a lot.
Yes!
And that segment is also available on audible.com, where you can...
I'm trying to figure out a design for a Reading with Rose shirt where
goodness,
it's
you're actually going to
reading
do
with
it.
2 E's. You're such an ass. Oh, yeah. I need to come up with something good because I want one of those shirts.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. Okay, So I've seen this movie twice now.
I unfortunately have only seen it once, but I definitely want to see it again very soon.
I have seen it twice.
Yeah,
Y'all
and
suck.
It's
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's the first go around with me watching it was a little confusing because I felt like I didn't understand what the film was until the second viewing.
Okay.
And after hearing like a few reviews, including your guys' review of it, it's kind of hard to understand, like, because at the end, like with Sharon Tate still being alive, I was under the impression, I'm like, wait, she was supposed to die,
Right.
and then like just a bunch of other confusing stuff like happened in like throughout that. Like I said, I felt like they were rewriting history, but now that I understand what Quentin was going for, that this was kind of his just kind of showing off his love for that era, it makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely had the same kind of initial reaction the first time I saw this movie. My best friend was bugging me for like months to go see this, and I finally like rented it one night, and my initial reaction was like, this was good, but I don't get. I didn't exactly get it. You know, it didn't like click in my brain immediately. Like this movie had to marinate in my head for like a couple days as I thought about it more and more, and then as kind of like what you said, Caleb, I had like discussions with him and like some other people, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, I missed some themes, and then when I watched it again, I was like, oh, this movie is about aging. This movie is about like Sharon Tate, the person, not the victim. This movie is about Quentin Tarantino's love for like the late '60s in Hollywood, and this movie has a lot of substance to it that you can miss if you're like going into it with a certain amount of expectation.
Yeah, or if you're just going into it blind, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is a big
good
issue
point.
with a lot of Quentin's movies. If you go in blind, you're going to come out a little confused.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And it's like you said, like you kind of need to sit on them a little bit.
If you kind of compare this movie to Pulp Fiction, which was probably like the most common movie brought up in your Twitter poll, when you go in and watch Pulp Fiction for the first time, it's, even if you go into it blind, that movie's still filled with like some like action sequence and like good bits of comedy, and it's still kind of like things that just like kind of grab at you, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is like really fun, this has good pacing, this is kind of fast paced. And when you go into this movie, there's not too many action sequence really, and it's a lot of it's kind of like a hangout movie. You know, it's kind of just like, oh, you know, you're just watching Cliff drive around LA for a while, or you're kind of seeing Rick fail at acting for a little bit. So this movie has it's a little bit different in like kind of like the pacing and like what it is that like drives you to keep wanting to
like,
watch it continue, you know.
That was like one of my biggest things when they were driving around. I like felt like, oh, we're traveling the streets with them. Like, okay, cool.
I mean, but
like I think
traveling...
I feel like you could have this movie playing in the background at like a 50s themed party. Like I feel like this movie isn't something that you have to pay super close attention to.
Fair.
But like watching it, like sitting down and watching it, it's not boring.
No, not at all.
Like it doesn't like have any parts that drag. Like maybe you could make the argument that him driving around town is a little slow.
I don't know. I liked those parts though.
I did
Yeah.
too. Like, I'm just saying you can make that argument.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, the movie's really good at keeping your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I think so too.
But it also doesn't require it, I feel.
I think
If that makes sense.
I think it kind of, I mean, it's not like there are these like, I mean, the movie is kind of subtle, but it's not like these little small details that if you miss out on it, it's not going to like come back to bite you in the ass at the end of the movie, because you're not going to be like, oh wait, where did they get this jacket or whatever. That there's nothing like that. But I think one of the biggest complaints that some people had was the whole Sharon Tate bit of this movie with Margot Robbie, because I think the first time people watched this, they might have been like, I didn't really get her purpose or part in this, because nothing really happened in her sequences that we observed her for.
Yeah, and I think that was the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, I think with like what you've said, like with history, like instead of her being the victim, it's the person, and there was just so much shit that had happened to her, and it was just kind of like more or less tainted by history, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie just kind of brings it back to her just being like a regular person,
Right?
Which I loved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get to see like how kind of like fun and like happy-go-lucky she is or was. And she goes to a bookstore. That's like something that, whether that was factual or fictional, whatever, it's kind of like, oh, Sharon Tate read books. It's kind of just like things like that, and just watching her go to the movies and watch her own movie and everything is like really fun and cute, and her kind of like, oh my god, they're laughing at it, like the jokes are landing, they're enjoying it, like, and it also kind of plays into that whole idea that this movie is about aging, because we're seeing her at the very beginning of her bright career and contrasting it to Rick, who's kind of fighting to keep his career alive when he feels like he's at the end of it. It's just kind of fun to kind of see those two things.
Yeah, I definitely really like that contrast, and I think it's like with her sitting and watching her own movie, I really like that, because it's just kind of like creating, like doing like an art project or doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like you want people to enjoy it, and it's just like, we can talk hot shit and say that we do it for fun, which, I mean, majority of us do, or we could just be like, talk like we're hot shit and say like we don't care if people listen, or we don't care if people like it, and I think we do.
Yeah, we really.
Like, if someone were to like come and say like, oh, I hate this, it's just like, hey, you still listened?
Still got that download. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, you could talk hot shit all day and say like you don't care what people think, but you want people to think something, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whether it be, oh, I hated that episode, it's just like, oh, fantastic, like I was able to bring something out in you, or
Right.
like, oh, I really like that, and then you feel good about like what you released into the world. And
Yeah.
like, same with any form of art, like a drawing or like a book or whatever. Like, you want people to enjoy it, and I feel like they did a really good job at showing that that was something she cared about too, in her own little way. Like, before the movie starts, or well, she goes in when the movie's going, doesn't she?
No, the previews were going.
The previews were going. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like when she does sit down with that, you can almost see, maybe, I mean, I might be reading into it, but maybe like a little bit of worry about, like, maybe she's just a little bit worried about what people think of the movie, or what people are going to think. And then it gets into the movie, and then you see her kind of like relaxing a little bit more.
Yeah, I feel she definitely relaxed when she put up her feet. and took off her
Yeah.
shoes.
Yeah, that's gross. anyone who takes off their shoes at a movie theater, I hope you get hit. Not fatally, but I hope you get hit by a car.
I was gonna say, damn. Shit, Caleb.
I said not fatally, like in the parking lot.
Okay.
I
Or
wonder
bare minimum,
if-
I hope you trip.
Okay, I'll take trip. I will take trip.
I hope you step in gum. Yeah.
There we go. Even better.
I was gonna say, I wonder if like part of some of her kind of like insecurity that you kind of just mentioned about her going into it sort of somewhat nervous had any sort of anything to do with the ticket booth salesperson not recognizing who she was, or not even like, you know, knowing who she was or anything like that. Like she was in, it's like, oh, I was in Valley of the Dolls. She goes, oh, you were? She goes, yeah, I was the klutz and everything. So she kind of had to like sort of be like, no, like I've been in other movies, like I really am in this movie. You know, she's kind of like, oh man, I don't have any clout at all.
Yeah. One thing I really like that they did is actually used, like they didn't try to doctor any images to make it look like Margot Robbie. They actually used Sharon Tate.
I loved that too. I absolutely loved that.
Yeah, and like that's something I wish that historical movies did a little bit more. Like one that I wish that they would have done that in is like Walk the Line, because I feel like they take a lot of pictures, and I wish that they would have like snapped the picture and then shown the actual photo in those types of movies. But I love that they did that with this, where it was not Margot Robbie reenacting anything. It was Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciated
so
that.
fantastic.
Yeah, I love that. I hope people take notice of that, and just like that little detail, because like I was a little confused at first. I'm like, wait, that doesn't even look like. And then when I realized, oh, that's Sharon Tate, like my mind exploded.
Yeah,
I was like, this is awesome.
It's still also cool because they do also show like Margot Robbie practicing with the guy who they have playing as Bruce Lee. So it was kind of like you still got to see Margot Robbie kind of like training for the scene that you're watching Sharon Tate do. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. Wasn't a big complaint with this movie, or just something that was going on, wasn't one of Bruce Lee's kids or grandchildren kind of throwing a fit over the portrayal of Bruce Lee?
It was his daughter.
His daughter?
Yeah. And
yeah, make him seem like he was an asshole.
I mean,
I don't think
he was in this.
I don't think it was portraying him as an asshole. It was kind of portraying him as a not like a ditz, but like kind of like dumb in a way. Because I mean, I guess from what she said, he was nothing like that. Like he wouldn't say like, oh, if we get into a fight and I accidentally kill you with my fists, I go to jail. Like,
so more like cocky.
Yes, yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
yeah, because like in the videos, like it's more confidence that he's portraying, not cockiness.
Yeah, that's true. But so
yeah, and I mean, like I don't know. I'm not I'm not related to Bruce Lee or anything, but I mean, I don't really think that this could have been offensive. I mean, in my opinion. And I mean, he probably was a very confident, cocky person, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, he was a huge athlete at the time. Like, of course, like I mean, and that's okay. Like everybody knows. Like, this doesn't taint the image of Bruce Lee. This movie does not do that. So,
yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would have been like if I was a family member to Bruce Lee, I think the only thing that I would have been upset about is
Brad
Cliff
Pitt
throwing him against the car.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dude, when I saw that, I was just like, oh, shit.
It was great. And, you know, they kind of do like a sly thing here because they're trying to do like best of three and it ends in a tie. So, like, there's no clear winner or loser in this.
That's true.
That's fair, but I think the loser is whoever got thrown against the car.
Right,
Dude,
yeah.
I couldn't even imagine getting thrown against a car. Like, I'd
And
be
that
like,
car-
I'm done.
Yep, you win.
That car door is like just dented into, and this is like back when like cars were made with like really heavy like sheet metal, you know. So
Yeah, that was steel.
yeah, that was like just damage. Like you're making a claim on that. Like that's
Yeah, for a car. Well, that wasn't a prop car, or it wasn't supposed to be a prop car, was it? It was supposed
it was
to be
the
like someone's
director's
car.
wife's car.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was like in the movie a real car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, that kind of damage would not have happened. I mean, maybe to the skeleton of of Bruce Lee, but not to the car.
I also wonder if, because like this is sort of a memory that Cliff is having while he's on top of the roof trying to fix the antenna. So I wonder like how much of this is skewed to his bias. He's like, yeah, I definitely threw him into that car. You know what I mean? So like,
That's a good point.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like I just view Bruce Lee as like the ultimate kung fu master, so it's a hard thing for me to imagine him getting his ass whooped like that.
Right? It's no kidding.
I know I just said that it's possible that his memory could be skewed a little bit because it was him kind of like thinking about it. And then you said something. So yeah, the last thing I have was me saying like, you know, how much can we trust this story because it's a little skewed because it's his memory while he's on the rooftop.
Yeah, a little unreliable narrator situation. And I don't know, that could be said about a decent amount of this movie.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, just here and there. Just because, I mean, Quentin Tarantino in himself, changing history like he did with Sharon Tate, that would be, like you could consider that like being an unreliable narrator. And then, but he also left a lot of things like in the open for you to interpret with like him killing his wife.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, do y'all think that Cliff killed his wife? I'm curious.
Oh, yeah.
What your opinion on that is.
He did.
Yeah. Brad Pitt's look when he just has that scuba mask on and just staring at her, yeah, there's kind of really no doubt.
I love my co-host when we talked about this. His bold claim was that he thinks it was kind of like an accident, kind of like in Pulp Fiction, where I think John Travolta accidentally shoots a guy in the back of the head. It was like kind of something like that. Like they hit a big wave and he accidentally shot her with a harpoon or whatever. So I kind of like that interpretation. But yeah, it's like one of those unanswerable questions from this movie, and depending on your answer completely skews how you see this character.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah, it's kind of funny too because you could choose to take it and be like, "Oh, you see the good in him. Like he wouldn't do that to his wife. Like she probably just left him or ran off with someone because they were kind of in like a Caribbean looking area, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe she just stayed there and she's just like, peace
Deuces.
out. And then
Interesting.
you could like choose to look at it like, oh, he's not a bad guy, or like then you could also choose to view it like, yeah, he did, and then he's just a shit person. It's just kind of a matter of like what perspective you're wanting to take.
Yeah, and then it kind of just like adds to like his whole mythos, like in all like the Hollywood circles, everybody's talking about like, hey, you know that stuntman that killed his wife? He just beat the shit out of Bruce Lee. Like,
Yeah, one thing I noticed, did he ever deny it?
I don't think he did.
Like, I feel
No,
like people kept
I think
throwing that in his face, but he never like said, "I didn't kill my wife." He just kind of like sat there and just like and drank.
Well, I
Brush
don't
it
know. Did
off.
like anyone like really throw it in his face? It seems like people were kind of more leaning towards it because when after Kurt Russell finishes talking with Oh my goodness.
Rick.
Rick, thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay, did Rick ever deny it?
Rick kind of doesn't know how to.
That's what.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was sorry, Rose. I was just saying, like, I'm not really sure because I'm trying to remember it because he goes to bat for him,
Yeah.
you know, and I can't really remember if he denies it or he's just like, oh, you gonna believe that? Like, I can't remember.
I think it's like, oh, do you really believe that? I think that's what he says because when after Kurt Russell's like, oh, fine, no, whatever. As he's leaving the trailer and he's walking away with Cliff, he's like talking about his wife, and he's just like, make sure you stay away from her. Like they never like full on say like, hey, you know, like, hey, wife killer, you know, like let's bring you onto the set. They kind of like, what's the word?
They either do it like behind his back or talk to like Rick about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anyone ever like approach. Yeah, I don't think anyone approaches him about it.
I mean, would you approach Brad Pitt about killing his wife?
You know what? Fair enough.
Fair, yeah, especially, yeah. He's like, he got away with it once, he might get away with it again.
Exactly.
I don't know. And I think that like Rick does like deflect it. He's like, oh, come on, he's a war hero. You know, he goes straight to that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Ooh, yeah, you could take that either way. Like, it's all a matter of what you're feeling about his character in that moment.
Yeah.
Like, once you see that, you're just like, oh, he wouldn't. And then it's just the thing that, like, gets you on, like, maybe is the look that he gives when he's holding the harpoon. Or it's not even a look. It's just the blank stare.
He's just kind of like, man, I could just do it right now. Nobody will know, Cliff.
Yeah, exactly.
And, like, the first time I watched this, I was like, I don't think he did it. There's no way. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, yep, he definitely did it. Like, your mind changes every time you see it.
Yeah, that's the. I was on the fence the first go around, and now I'm like completely on the. Oh yeah, he did.
Especially after like everything, like you see how prone to violence he is in this movie. Like, he is not afraid to just go there and escalate it. You know, we see it when he beats the shit out of the hippie for tearing up his tire. The whole ending scene, which I'm sure we will get to. I mean, you know, he's like, fighting is always on the table for him. He's not afraid of like physical conflict.
Yeah, like he honestly could have taken, I feel, a few of them. Like
his wife,
those three hippies, like the three hippies at the end, he easily could have taken them out, I feel. But he chose to let his dog freaking go ham.
Have at it.
So,
yeah, that was great. I love that little bit.
Oh my gosh,
little
so
bit. The whole thing. I was talking about like his dog Brandy, but yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Like, honestly, I feel you can't help but not smile at them getting killed because I love that Quentin Tarantino rewrote history with that scene because like you love seeing them get what they deserved.
Yeah, especially with the flamethrower, which I loved how they brought that in.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
When he's just like, yeah, it's a bit hot. Can we like cool it down?
It's a flamethrower, Rick. Yeah. Apparently that was ad-libbed by Leo. Like that wasn't like, that was Leo kind of like breaking character. Apparently that was him just going, oh, this is hot. Like, can we do anything about this? And Quentin Tarantino was like, that is amazing. Use it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Gosh, just the idea of someone asking if we can do something about the heat coming off of a flamethrower, like, I'll like chuckle about that randomly.
Oh yeah, it's the best.
Yeah,
it's just the fact that he kept that prop. Like, who lets somebody keep that off a movie set?
Seriously.
Like, who's like
50s?
Like the prop supervisor, like when they're getting like everything back, they're going through their checklist. I'm like, okay, like I feel like flamethrower would be like high on the list to make sure you got back, right? Like,
right.
Well, that was also back in a time when they didn't give a shit about props.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense.
So I was watching on Disney Plus this, basically this dude's a prop hunter, and he's trying to go back and find these props from Disney history because they back then they didn't keep any of those. They just let the cast and crew kind of just take them. And so there was one guy who ended up getting the mold for the Mary Poppins umbrella.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, jealous.
So he had that. One person had the snow globe.
Oh, awesome.
They were able to find the little yellow coat that the little girl, I forget her name, the girl was wearing.
Oh, Jane?
Jane, yeah. So they found the coat and the hat that she was wearing in that. That, back then, they did not give a shit about the props. They're just take them, we're done.
Damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
But still, this isn't the mold to create the flamethrower. It's a flamethrower that just went missing. Just a weapon. Its only purpose is to burn bodies. I don't get.
Yeah. Well, you gotta think also back then they didn't have special effects, so they had to get the legitimate item. So they probably just bought it. They were just maybe we're never going to use this again. Rick's hey, I'm taking this, and they're okay. Kind of
I don't see any problem
that's
with
Rick
that.
fucking Dalton.
Yeah,
just let him do what he wants.
It's like Robert Downey Jr. taking home the giant Avengers A. From
what?
Yeah, he took home the Avengers A. So the one where where it's crashed down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just
that's awesome.
I'll be taking that, and they're just what? And he's that is going home with me, and they're we have to, and he's just no. Put it in a trailer. It's coming home with me, and they're oh, okay. So they put.
If anyone deserves it, it's him.
That's true. I mean, you really can't say no to RDJ.
Yeah, but it's just it's like Chris Evans. He's probably took home a shield or two.
Oh, I know Chris Hemsworth has taken home quite a few Thor hammers.
Yeah, wasn't there this big old this story that he broke one of his brother's foot?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, he broke his brother's foot because he took home one of the super heavy Thor hammers and dropped it on his brother's foot.
I want to say I read somewhere that he actually has taken home a Thor hammer from every single movie he's played him in.
Freaking worth it, dude.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but it's probably that situation. He's just this is cool. I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that makes sense too, because we do see other stuff around his house, the movie posters and posters of shows and movies he's been in are just all over his house. Even his driveway, there's a portrait of himself.
That was that was something.
Honestly, that's tacky.
Just a little bit.
Right.
Just a little bit.
But I'm just thinking, if we get to the point where we make films like that, hell yeah, I'm going to have posters of my movie up everywhere. I'm going to have the props, whatever props I can get away with taking. I'm going to have those scattered around. I'm going to have those in shadow boxes around the house.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it's just...
It's still also kind of fitting for that character too, of him just he's living with the relics of his golden age that he's not in anymore. Still him holding on to what he knew was good in his heyday, because even when he goes on to Lancer to be the heavy, they're wanting him to be a cowboy, but they're wanting him to dress up differently, and it's not even how if he were to just dress up a cowboy is the way I even think about how cowboys are supposed to look is now different. And so it's just him just living in these relics of a time where he was, he was king shit, he was just the king of the crop or whatever, or cream of the crop, sorry. And it's him just trying to hold on to that, and this whole movie is him trying to get back to that.
Yeah. I really liked seeing him struggle with the new look, the long hair and just shagginess in that movie. And
sexy, scary Hamlet. Yeah, it's great.
And then, or him asking the director or just whoever saying how are these people going to recognize that it's me? And he, the director saying, with luck, they won't.
Yeah.
And how he just kind of
oh, what?
yeah, you could see like the struggle in his face with that. Like, wait, what? but my face.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. For someone that was in like the age of where you're just a clean cut cowboy, that would make sense that he would, like, all his fame is coming from people recognizing him. So the fact that the director doesn't want people to recognize him would be, I think, difficult on his ego.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, there's like so much about this movie that you could just analyze to death.
Yeah, and again, it's about like him needing to adapt to continue this career if he wants to. You know, he needs to dress differently. He needs to dress how cowboys are now being presented as. He needs to go to Italy to film those kind of movies. He is like, this movie is about change and how he needs to adapt if he wants to continue making movies.
Yeah. So what are we thinking with the story grade? Because
See, this is tough.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So like with the story, it's more just like the flow and how like the story progressed and everything, which I think was pretty good. I don't think it was like the best thing in the world, but
Mm-hmm.
I feel like where this movie really shines is in the writing.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
writing was
Exactly.
was
Yes, I
perfect.
100% agree.
Watching the story itself, and like we've said, like watching it the first go round, if there's things that you don't, if you're going in blind, it's a little confusing. I feel like I kind of have to dock it a little bit. Like the story is good. It's good even though it's confusing.
Yeah.
But I have to dock it because if you go in blind, you're going to be lost. I feel. At least at the end.
I
Yeah.
absolutely agree.
Yeah, and you didn't go in completely blind. Like how?
No.
Like were you still like what up with the ending, or because I kind of explained it to you a little
You
bit.
did a little bit.
So did that help?
It absolutely did. And honestly, like the more that I thought about it, the more like I loved that Quentin Tarantino rewrote history with this ending.
Yeah. So I think
It's so satisfying. I love it.
Yeah. So I think with a story, like with the story, you shouldn't have to explain anything
Yes.
for a perfect story.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is this on a scale from 1 to 100? Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, like, I really like the story. I think it's a good one, but it isn't exactly the clearest one. Kind of like what you're saying. Like, you can't just like hop into the middle of it and kind of just get a clear picture. It's like one that's like, you know, really detailed, and I feel like there's like one character arc in this whole thing. So, but just because I like it so much, I'm thinking like maybe like high 50s or 60 for story. I was thinking like maybe like a 60. Am I a little low?
Well, it's kind of like it's
Or am I a little high?
like letter grade.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
Like that. That's like like. Yeah, if we were like 1 out of 100, like that's fair, but that's also like an F.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Here. I'll start back over because I think it's a lot better than that. Okay. So story wise, I'll probably say like a B minus. Which sounds very contradictory to what I just said, but I would say like a B minus C plus range a little bit, just because the story it's hard to describe the story, and kind of like how you said, it should be easy to explain. I mean,
Well,
back to
you shouldn't have to explain it.
Yeah.
Like that's the ultimate goal. You shouldn't have to, but I feel like you have to kind of listen to Quentin Tarantino's thoughts before you understand it.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So I was kind of thinking like a C-ish.
yeah, like that would put me in like the 74 range.
I can give you that. 74.
74?
Yeah, I could do that.
All right. So yeah, that puts us like so far. That puts us at a C. All right, next up we got writing, this is where
The movie shines.
yeah, freaking nailed it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think especially with like Sharon Tate's character, like, I include this in writing. There's a lot of times where she doesn't necessarily talk a lot, and
That's
it
true.
works because you kind of want her to feel like an average, everyday person.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily want her to have like a huge arc or whatever. That was
Mhm.
left for Rick and Cliff.
Right. And even like outside of just like the actual writing of like the storyboard of it or whatever, like the dialogue for everybody was great in this.
It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I don't think that there was
Yeah,
any.
it was really
like,
funny too.
wasted dialogue.
No.
Like, I don't think there's anything that you could cut out and not mess up the movie.
Yeah, even Al Pacino's dialogue made sense.
Oh yeah, he has some of the best lines of
He
dialogue in this, I
does.
think, too. Like even like the when he walks into the bar and he sees Cliff, he goes, "Oh, is that your son?" Pour myself a cognac, have myself a fucking Rick Dalton fucking film festival. Like, God, that sounds like an awesome night. Like,
Oh,
Yeah. That stuff was perfect.
it
And
really
it's
was.
like, whenever, like, just for those of you that are newer to this, like, whenever I talk about, like, wasted dialogue, I'm thinking more like the first Spider-Man. There's a lot of, like, just filler dialogue. And it's just like, okay, shut up and get to the Green Goblin speeches.
right.
But, like, this whole thing, it was like a Green Goblin speech. Like, you could not cut it out and
No.
have it be good for the movie,
Yeah.
I feel. I'm trying to think if there's any issues with the writing I had. I don't think it was perfect all the
No,
time, but it
but
was...
I don't really have any like nitpicks.
I don't either.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing that was like, oh, that was a stupid line of dialogue, or like, why did they write it like this? It was like, this is probably like his best written movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll start off. I'm in like the mid 90s. So I'm like sitting 95.
I can so give you a 95.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking like 96. Honestly, is what I thought of coming into this. So yeah, I'm good with that.
95. Let's do it. All right, next up we got acting. So I think we're just going to do Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt.
Margot Robbie? Or should we just do Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio?
I think we should just do those two. Because
Okay.
Margot Robbie didn't have a whole lot of acting to do.
She didn't, but like I still feel like that, like the little acting we saw of her, we still got like just that charisma and bubbly attitude that like she was supposed to bring, you know?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And that's sometimes like more of a challenge, really, when you have little space to work with. It, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, it
I mean,
does.
she was a
Like,
big
hey,
part of this story. It was just she
Mhm.
didn't have a whole lot to say or do.
Okay.
So we can do her, sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't just so much like dialogue acting as well. She acted it like in the movie theaters. You just saw like her acting with her face and her whole body language of her being excited that people were enjoying her
That's a good
movie and
point.
everything.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so let's start off with Margot. What are we thinking, or what are you thinking with her?
I would say like low 90s.
Low 90s?
Okay.
Honestly, like yeah, like 91, 92 maybe.
That's pretty fair.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel like that she gets a lot of credit for like conveying the attitude of that character with such little screen time.
Yes.
In little dialogue as well. It was mostly all body language, and we see her like dancing and everything while she's doing stuff. It's great.
It really is.
Yeah. That is really difficult to argue with. But yeah, body language is hard to get right. And I think one of the biggest instances of like the body language being like the majority of your acting is with V for Vendetta, having to work underneath a mask.
Mm.
Like
Right.
you have to show body language and shit.
I mean,
I forget his name.
I mean, when it comes to body language under a mask, I mean, Nick Castle.
Okay, who played Red Skull?
Hugo Weaving.
Yep, Hugo Weaving. Yeah, he did really good with In V for Vendetta at making V showing like anger and just kind of joy. Like he did really good with that, like that body language. And I don't think Margot Robbie's on that level, but she's close. I may be more towards a 90, but
I'm at a solid 90.
All right.
Yeah.
So we can go like 90 and a half.
90.5.
Sure, that works.
Because we nitpick on this show.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got character development, which I think is.
We still got 2 to grade for acting.
Oh, gosh damn it. I'm stupid.
Sorry, you're not leaving my boy Brad Pitt out in the dust.
Yeah, so we have 2 other people to grade before we get to. I'm stupid. Okay, next up, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
All right, what?
Awesome
100.
100.
I mean, I would say this is probably one of his better roles. I mean, it was really good.
I haven't seen a lot of Brad Pitt films. This is by far his favorite performance for me.
Have you seen Inglourious Bastards? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. You're an asshole.
I almost like, I don't know. I almost like this one a little bit more. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with like an argument, but I'm having a hard time. But to your point with the Glorious Bastards, but like this one, I don't know. He just did. I mean, he was really good at being macho, but not like so over the top that he couldn't let his male best friend cry on the shoulder. Like he was fine with that. I mean, he's doing kind of like this, I don't know, like Missouri accent the whole time. I don't know what it is that he's doing, but I mean, he did a really good job. But you might have a point that him and Inglourious Bastards might be slightly better.
Yeah, like I don't know what it was. Like I felt like I don't know. I feel like there were times where he was just a little off.
See, I didn't feel that way at all.
You didn't?
Nope.
I thought it was a little off when he was at the ranch.
I feel he was at his best at that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I agree with Rose here. Yeah. That's where I felt like he was at some of his best.
Yeah, I don't know what vibes I was getting off him, but it was just like maybe like a little bit of an awkwardness.
Yeah, I mean,
because it could have been just him interacting with the hippies. That was just maybe Cliff was just uncomfortable.
I mean, can you blame him?
Fair.
I'll tell you this: he gives an excellent line delivery at the ranch when he's trying to talk to Squeaky, and he's trying to get into the house to see George. And he's just like, look, and he kind of like bangs on like the storm door. He goes, listen, I'm coming in to see George, and this thing ain't stopping me. It's like I'm not doing it justice, but like he does such a great line delivery for that because it's like chilling. It's kind of like, fuck, is he gonna punch this hippie in the face? Because he might bust through that screen door because he just said that's not stopping him.
Yeah. And
everything in the car ride that we get with him. When he's driving up Pussycat, when she offers him fellatio, he's like, how old are you really? Like, it's just great. I fucking love it. I'm feeling
I would admire him for that.
Seriously,
like,
that whole scene when she just comes out and said that, I'm like, damn, girl, you don't play around, do you?
Yeah, he's also just kind of like, listen, Johnny Law's been after me, and I'm not going to get caught for poo-tang. Like, you see, it's great. I'm thinking like mid-90s for him. I don't know about you two, but that's what I'm feeling.
What are you thinking, Caleb?
Gosh damn it. I think you guys talked me up.
Yes.
Because I completely forgot about the I'm not going to jail for poo-tang. Like, I'm in the 90s just for that line alone.
Right? And then, like, there's even, like, the part where he's just, like, it's, like, throughout the day, he's just driving by and he sees the hippies and he sees them, like, yell at cops, like, you stupid pigs. And he just goes, oh, no, like, to himself. It's kind of like, oh, Cliff, what are you about to get into this time, man? It's so great.
Ah, shit. All right, where are you? So you said mid-90s.
Yeah.
Where are you at?
I'm at a solid 95.
Freaking F you guys.
I can live with the 95.
All right. Next up, we got Leo.
This was great.
It was.
There's so many layers to this performance.
Yeah, I don't think this was like Revenant level acting, but it was pretty good.
It was.
It was really good.
I'm not going to say it's his best performance ever.
No, that's
but
Titanic.
I think...
I'm just kidding.
Not the beach. I think that it's... I think that he does deserve a lot of recognition for the multiple layers that he has to bring to this character, because, you know, it's Leonardo DiCaprio, who is an actor, playing an actor that is struggling. So he has to act poorly, but not in a hammy way. And there's also, like, points in the movie where, like, they do flashbacks back to where he's actually still in his heyday. So then he has to be like, okay, I have to be a successful actor in this part of the movie. Now I need to be a bad actor in this part of the movie. And there's like layers to that. That's like, if you think about it, you get a headache. So I feel like he deserves a little bit more credit for that. But I don't think that this is like peak Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Well, I'm not sure if this actually happened because I don't trust memes, but I remember seeing this meme where it's Leo and Brad Pitt at this like award show. It might have been the Oscars, but when they were talking about getting cast in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and when they went to Quentin and asked, "Hey, like, we're supposed to be playing these actors that are just that are out of their heyday, and like, how do you want us to do this?" And Quentin apparently told him, like, just be yourselves.
Oh shit. Damn.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like, if that's true, holy shit, Quentin Tarantino's a boss.
He has no filter whatsoever.
Like, have you seen his interviews? Like, any interview with
him? Really, actually.
He's super
crazy.
Enthusiastic.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I love watching him talking about movies. Like, he gets into shit that you're just like, I don't know what you're saying, dude, but like, yes.
yes, he is fucking all over the place. There's a like horror history with Eli Roth. There's like a podcast of that, and he has Quentin Tarantino on there, and like Quentin Tarantino is talking over Eli Roth like the whole time. Like, he just doesn't let him get a word in. He's like, no, I'm not done talking about Frankenstein from 1934. Like, let me get to it. And you know, he's just, it's so funny because you hear like the host try to like he tries to like get a word in. He's like, no, I'm not done. And it's yeah, that's how he is. He is crazy, but yeah, it's very entertaining to listen to him talk.
Yeah, it's cool because he's enthusiastic about the topic that he's discussing, plus he's super knowledgeable on it too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because there was a Wired thing that they did where they broke down a scene from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it goes like, typically those like breakdown of scenes go for maybe 10-15 minutes. His went on for like way longer than that. And he broke it down with Leo, and Leo didn't get a single word in.
I think I remember seeing something about that.
Like, he was just talking, and then Quentin would turn over, he's like, yeah, and he's just like, uh-huh. And then he would just go off again.
And like in these videos, they like have them drawing all over the screen. So he's like drawing all over like he's fucking John Madden, and you know, he's like, oh yeah, this is this guy over here, but he's doing this, and like, it's just nuts. It's like he's on cocaine all the time. It's like,
I would love to work on one movie with him.
It would be insane, but apparently people like it.
Like, I mean, the results, like, you can't argue with them. Like,
Yeah,
all
you
of his
can't.
films are amazing.
Yeah. Truly.
So, I mean, you can't argue with his results.
No, you can't. Not whatsoever.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back into Leo's acting. Like we said, not his best performance, but it's, I'd say top 5.
I agree.
With that. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
really, really good. Are we putting him on the same level as Brad Pitt, though?
I was thinking like 93, 94. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard.
That's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, I think he's definitely above Margot by like a decent chunk, but I think he's a little bit below Brad Pitt.
Agreed.
There's a smidge. And I think it's mostly because like Brad Pitt was also like so entertaining in this too. Like, he didn't give a flat performance. Not that like Leo did, but you know, comparing the two characters, I don't know. I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, so 93?
Yeah, I can do 93.
I think I could live with that. Yeah.
All right, so that averages us out to a 92.8.
Not bad.
I think that works.
Yeah. All right, next up we got character development. So I think we're going to do
Leo's?
Rick.
Yeah, Rick Dalton.
I think he's the only one really that gets character development in this movie.
Yeah, seriously though.
Yeah.
Rick effing Dalton.
So he kind of starts off as someone that's struggling with aging, struggling with like how maybe the movie industry is moving, and realizing that he's starting to not fit anymore.
Yeah.
At least for the stuff that he's used to or wants to do. And I think as time goes on, he starts to accept it, because he does end up, like, he's basically says, like, the spaghetti westerns are stupid, and then goes off into Italy and does them, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back, and then it feels like he's a little bit more accepting of what's going on, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he does have a really decent arc. Like, you see, like, the processes up to, like, the decision of him leaving.
I agree, and I loved not only watching his arc, but also watching him and Cliff's arc as well. Of like
their relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird relationship. It almost felt like brothers, but had like an employee kind of vibe to it as well.
Yeah, and it was also, but I think that was also kind of a thing of nobody would hire Cliff because of the allegations, so Rick just like kept him on his payroll for those reasons.
Yeah, which is something that I would do for a friend.
Oh, I would too, absolutely.
Yeah. I would still feel weird about telling them to go on the roof to fix an antenna, but yeah.
Yeah, and
But
I think,
I'd be like, I'm cool with you
Rick
being my
had a little
chauffeur.
something against it too, because he's just like, hey, kind of like, if you could. Like, whenever he was like telling Cliff to go do something, it felt awkward.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
Like, just in just like a little way, it was just like, hey, could you like, I'm busy. Or especially when he was going to the movie set, he's like, hey, just meet me back here. Like, I'm going to work in a movie. I need you to go fix my cable. Like, yeah. But I loved how, like, even through that kind of weird relationship that they have, they still are really close, and their friendship is still super strong.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Rose, what do you think about character development?
I can't decide between if I'm like want to do like an 8. Like, I'm stuck between 85 and a 90. So I'm good. Okay, I'm gonna go solid 88.
88?
I think I was aiming maybe slightly lower, like kind of like the lower end of what you just said, like maybe 85.
Okay.
Just because like it's not bad. Like the character development isn't bad, but the thing is, it's just for one character. And in a movie like this, where you have such, I mean, it's not like a huge cast, but I feel like that this had the potential to show arcs for a couple other people as well. I guess Rose made a good point about the relationship just between them having an arc, which I never thought about before. So that's actually a good point that can maybe bump it up a little bit. So, so I was kind of like thinking like maybe like 85.
I can be talked down to an 85, honestly.
What do we think, Caleb?
Well, I'm about like an 85 too, but yeah, like it was good. It wasn't like the greatest arc ever or anything like that, but I mean, I'll do 85. I don't have a decent argument to like bring you down or up, so maybe just meet at the middle.
Yeah,
like whatever the 2/3 middle is, or like 86.
Yeah, let's do 86.
And I think that like some like points that help kind of keep it at like that 80 range, and I mean that like help it keep it not from like going any lower, is because it is like an arc that makes sense, and it's an arc that is like a good message too. It isn't something like silly, you know. It was like, yeah, this all made sense for everything. So I feel like that kind of helps it not go any lower.
Yeah. All right, moving on to effects. So there wasn't really very many special effects, but I think there was a lot of practical.
Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to like set pieces, I can't remember. Do we include that in costumes or effects?
That's more of a costumes thing.
Okay.
So effects is more like any action sequence, any practical or visual effects.
Okay. Man, I feel Bruce Lee getting thrown into a car.
Oh my gosh, that was brutal.
The quintessential effect of this film.
And also that hippie being lit on fire and running around. That was...
Yeah,
dude, that bitch would not die. Like, she got her ass whooped. And
yeah, her face looked like, or one of them's faces looked like hamburger meat at the end of it.
Yeah, like, hell, she got the living shit beat out of her. And she was still screaming like a freaking...
Okay, speaking of
hyena.
Speaking of that, okay, have either of you seen Scream 4?
No.
Yes.
Okay. I hope you remember this part. When she would not die, I was thinking in my head, who are you, Michael Myers? Remember that part at the end?
Yep. Yeah, that was great. You need to see that movie, Caleb. But I'm a Scream head. But you gotta be careful saying that word around me. I might talk for an hour about that. I might go full QT on you and not let you just not shut up about Scream. But
I'll just crop it out, make it a bonus episode.
There we go.
And then she just want to die. She just want to die, man. She was just like, Jake Voorhees, Michael Myers. Like, she just want to fucking die. And you know.
But yeah, so this was this movie was very action light for a Quentin Tarantino film.
True. Which
works. And like the little action that they did have looked really good.
Oh, absolutely.
Does it lose any points at all for when Tex starts to punch Brandy and it's very obvious it's a puppet dog that he's punching?
It does a little bit.
Yeah, now thinking of that.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Like, because with this, so the first watch, I watched it on my phone because I was watching my baby.
That's exactly what he wanted you to do.
Wait, Quentin?
Yeah, that's exactly what he was planning on people doing. Oh yeah, watch this on your phone.
Oh, okay.
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I thought you were being serious. I was like, oh,
yeah, no,
I watched it correct.
Like,
then. No, I was.
I could have just made this with Quibi. Fuck it. I just made a Quibi.
Yeah, so I was watching it on my phone while I was taking care of my baby, and then the second go around, I watched it on my TV. And
good. I was gonna kick your ass if you watched it at the same time on your phone.
Yeah, so the second time when I saw on the TV, I noticed the dog a lot more. And I was just like, that doesn't look right.
That's a Muppet. Yeah, that's.
But the question is it as bad as American Sniper's baby doll?
Oh my gosh. No, not nearly.
Oh, shit.
Stunt work, I would put in the low 90s.
There is. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say stunt work. There's the whole last piece of the movie, and then there's all of like the stunt driving that Cliff is doing.
That's true.
Yeah, so that stuff I would put in like the low 90s. The visual effects I'd put maybe a little lower. So maybe in the mid, like the higher mid 80s.
Okay.
Because I'm counting the dog.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
So if I average that out, I would say I'm in the 88 range.
I can give you that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. I thought that was going to be a little harder to argue, but... All right, next up we got music. So this one's out of 10.
So good.
10. I mean, the soundtrack is amazing.
It is.
I honestly can agree at 10 too.
All right, I'm down.
Sweet.
Like, go on Spotify, listen to the soundtrack. It's amazing, and like they even kept in all of, like the radio ads in with it. It's so much fun to listen to.
Fantastic.
So much fun to listen to.
All right, next up we got costumes. So once again, this is out of 10.
There's a reason why it won at the Oscars for the set design, because you said we can count like sets with costumes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there is a reason why it won for that at the Oscars. Quentin Tarantino nailed this time period to a T.
Yes, like especially like how this movie opens up with Sharon Tate and her husband, I forget, Roman Polanski, when like they land in the airport, they're just walking through the airport, just like all the extras are walking by, just scream like 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
So I mean, I might give this a 10 as well. I don't have any points against it. That's why.
Yeah, I think something Quentin does really well is nailing the perspective,
like the texture,
not the perspective. He gets the scale of it. Like like when Cliff is driving through Hollywood or driving through, I want to say LA, but I don't know California that well.
It's LA.
Okay. Yeah. So while he's driving through that, you feel that time period. Mm-hmm. Like just hardcore. And I feel like other movies that try to get you into that time period, their sets are very small and restricted. But he was able to like make the set feel like the whole city instead of just like this little street. Like he was panning over the city and it felt still like the 50s. And I love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he really has that texture down.
I keep saying 50s. This was 69, wasn't it?
69.
But still, yeah. I mean, yeah, I knew what you meant, Caleb. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that looked really good. Honestly, I feel like Margot Robbie had the best costumes.
Oh, hell yeah.
I agree.
Go-go boots?
Those go-go boots. Yeah, I loved that.
But while we're talking about costumes, I just want to say that while they're at the Playboy Mansion and we see Roman Polanski, he is dressed just like Austin Powers. I mean, he looked just like him.
Oh, shit, he was, yeah.
Dude, straight up. Like, that is no joke. Oh my gosh. I was kind of like happy. Well, not really happy. Appreciative that they didn't take like a completely raunchy turn when they went to the Playboy Mansion.
I was too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they could have just overdone
but
Playboy.
They tried to keep it classy in a way.
Yeah. Like, they were still like,
or at least best they could.
I think that, if I'm remembering right, I think there was background like nudity, but it wasn't like in your face.
Yeah. Was there even any nudity?
If there was, I missed it. But I'll
What
take
is
your word for it.
this? Is this rated R for me?
It is.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it's a rated R for nudity. I don't know that for a fact.
nudity? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think, like, I'm not remembering any. I'm just saying if there was, it was in the background and it wasn't like in our face.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think there was.
See if there's anything.
Let's see your parent guide.
Yeah. Sharon is sleeping in bed naked but covered with a white sheet. Only her bare back and legs are shown.
Okay, that doesn't count.
She says cock while driving. Several scenes of girls in short shorts. Several scenes with revealing skimpy outfits. Hippie girls wear revealing blouses with no bra. But I don't think you really even saw anything with that.
Okay, so it's basically the same level as Friends.
You're not wrong. For real though.
But no,
Yeah,
you're
if you're
right. If they
talking
wanted
skimpy
to,
clothing
they
and
could have
see-through.
been kind of skeezy here, but they, weren't.
Yeah, and I really appreciated that, especially with the tone that Quentin was going with Sharon Tate's story.
Yeah.
Like he could have taken it a different direction, and he chose not to, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, because then, like, the whole movie, you're, like, associating her character with the Playboy Mansion, which can, like, kind of lead to, like, other things. And honestly, you kind of forget that they even go to the Playboy Mansion at the beginning of this movie.
It's true. Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. So, honestly, I don't have any arguments with, like, the costumes. Like, all the costumes look great. Like, everyone looked great.
Yeah, I don't have any points against it.
I don't either.
So 10?
Yeah.
All right. Now, personal grade. So we'll let you start off.
Oh, jeez.
With personal grade.
And this is out of 100, correct? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be I might be a little over generous. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I'll see what you guys think. But I mean, this movie is a lot of fun. I find it incredibly rewatchable. This is a drinking movie. This is like a sit down, have a whiskey sour or like a 6-pack, and like you're just drinking, laughing, having a good time. And that like adds a lot of points for me. And I like the message of this movie, and it's entertaining, even though some people might think it's boring. If you think it's boring, I think you're kind of missing the point. But I'm going to say, fuck it. I'm going to give it a 96. Like, I'm going to give it like a high score for that.
Nice. All right, Rose?
Yeah, honestly, I've never thought about like a movie being like a drinking movie, like drinking like a 6-pack or something like that, especially like a Tarantino movie. But yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, out of the 2 you've seen?
And which 2 are that?
You're such a smart ass, Caleb. Oh, all right. Anyway, getting back to my score. 3 main leads were fantastic. Brad Pitt stole this movie for me. Love the story. I loved the change of the historical accuracy. I love the Tarantino rewrote history with the ending of this film. I'm gonna go 93.
Not bad. I'm actually going to go a little bit lower. Just because mostly for my first viewing. My second viewing, I would definitely be with you in the 93 range.
Okay.
But it's just the first viewing I can't get over. So it brings it down for me.
Okay. But how down?
It's just not a whole lot. I'm like more in the 90 range.
Okay.
That's fair.
So,
yeah.
And it's just because I would prefer for a movie to not have to be explained after the fact. Like, I don't want to have more questions leaving than going in.
That's fair. Okay, I can.
I mean,
that.
And there's like at some point, like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's just.
Is it kind of like falling into like personal taste, or is it kind of like you're feeling like stuff could have just been elaborated a little bit better?
More like that. Like just maybe something at the end, just kind of explaining what that goal was.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my top 5 movies have very ambiguous endings. Like, you don't know one way or another how it ends.
Yeah.
But that's the only question they leave you with. Like with this, it was more like, okay, what were they going for? Like, I understood the story of aging. I understood like all this other stuff. It was just knowing the history. It was just what were you going for?
Right. Yeah. It's not so much of a like a goal driven plot, really. Besides like Rick trying to, I don't know, revitalize his career, but that's like, it's not exactly driving the narrative, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why it brings it down a little bit for me, a little bit more, just because of those questions I had. Instead of it being like with Inception, Inception's not particularly one of my top 5, but it's just like, oh, is he still in a dream? Is he still not? And then that's something you could discuss. This, it ended, and you knew how everything ended, and it's just, you're just like, okay, but why did you end it that way?
Yeah. All right, I get what you're saying.
And I think I want to take a quick stab at that, if I may, about like how and why and everything. With, as we see Rick going up the driveway to meet Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski, and now maybe he could be in a Roman Polanski movie. It's kind of like, oh, his fantasy is coming true a little bit. His career might kick off again. And then Sharon Tate's still alive. And then it just ends with, once upon a time in Hollywood, kind of reminding you, this is just a fairy tale. This is just a fantasy. This was Rick's fantasy. This was Sharon Tate's fantasy, that she's not a victim. He had a really successful second half of his career. It's kind of just like, what if sort of thing, which still doesn't kind of answer fully like the why and the purpose of all this, but it's kind of just like, we're seeing these people's fantasies play out.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely makes the title make a little bit more sense.
Yeah, it does, actually.
I'll take it.
You're like, whatever. But you're like, but you still had to explain that to me. So yeah, so.
Yeah. All right, so averaging out all of our scores averages out to a 93%.
I'm cool with that.
Which, that brings our final All Bros and Film on the Rocks score for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood to an A-.
Not bad.
I like it.
Not bad at all.
I'm good with that.
Yes. So it is sitting at a 91.1%. So that actually puts it 1 point below. So these are all A- movies that I'm about to list off in our rating system. It's 1 point below Pulp Fiction. It's 1 point below Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay.
1 point below Infinity War.
Okay.
Ooh, it's like 0.3% lower, percent lower than Coco.
Shit, damn.
So this is like,
yeah,
same freaking level. It is higher than Little Women.
Okay.
It's higher than 1917.
Ooh, I bet that's going to piss some people off. But
yeah, probably.
I'm honestly okay with that.
It is lower than A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it is lower than The Joker.
Okay.
It's lower than The Room. It is higher than Us.
Okay.
It is 0.1% higher than How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World.
Damn. Holy shit.
It's on the same level as Logan. And it's a little bit lower than War of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are all of our A- movies.
Nice. It's with a good batch.
Yeah, it's in with a really good group
it really
of
is.
movies. So, yeah, love this movie.
So good.
So yeah. So you want to tell us where we can find all of your stuff?
Yes. Thank you guys. Thank you, Caleb and Rose, again for having me. And Rose, which two Quentin Tarantino movies have you seen again? I kind of already forgot. But thank you guys for having me on. This was a lot of fun. I'm Brucker from Film on the Rocks, and you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Pocket Cast, pretty much anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And if you want to find us on Twitter, you can at Film on the Rocks.
Hell yeah. I am a weekly listener. I actually
so much.
listen to The Faculty, and I haven't seen The Faculty.
Well, now you got your drinking rules for it, and that movie is so much fun.
Yeah, it sounded like it. Like, it sold me. Like, once you said it was like a kind of like a body snatcher murder breakfast club, I'm like, I'm in.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, it's so much. I don't know if you're like familiar with like Kevin Williamson scripts, but yeah, it's one of his scripts, and it's just a crazy fun movie, especially to like watch it like with like some like retrospective of like the 90s and everything. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch that. But yeah, like your show's just great. Love the drinking rules.
Oh,
and it makes me think about like different parts of like movies that I typically forget, which is great. So yeah, definitely go and check them out.
Thank you so much for the kind words, and I love your guys' show too, because it's a completely different like format from ours. So like it's like I'm getting a new perspective on the movies as well, and I like how y'all actually break up the movies into these different ranking categories. As y'all kind of like could listen to, I was a little rusty on that because we don't really do that, but it's fun to do that. And my rankings don't really make sense at all, but I love listening to y'all break them down that way.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So if you like this episode, want to check out more of our stuff, you can follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We can be found pretty much anywhere. You can catch all of our episodes on YouTube, as well as some videos that we keep talking about making. You can also follow us on social media if you want to hit us up with episode ideas, answer our question of the week, or if you want to join us. Like, we would love to have anyone on. But we're on Facebook, facebook.com/theallbros. Twitter and Instagram, our handle is @theallbros. You can email us at theallbroschannel@gmail.com, as well as check out our website, which is tinyurl.com/theallbros, where you can find links to the podcast to listen to, our YouTube, find links to our store, which is on TeePublic. I have no freaking clue what I'm going to do for this episode art.
We'll have to put our heads together.
Yeah. But we'll come up with something cool. Hopefully it'll make a decent t-shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, thank you, Brucker, for joining us this
thank
week.
you so
We
much.
appreciated the hell out of it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and for dealing with me. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I love this movie so much.
Yeah, it's a good one. If you have not seen it, sorry,
watch it twice.
Spoiled it all, but
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
go see it. Go see it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Go into it thinking about aging and Sharon Tate's story, and then you'll be able to appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So next week, you can look forward to us breaking down The Hunt.
Ooh, I haven't seen
so-
that.
Oh, so good.
It's really good. Definitely recommend it.
Ooh, okay. I've heard that from a couple people, so I might have to put that on my list.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, look forward to that next week. Until then, this has been the All Bros Podcast. I'm Caleb.
No, I'm Jonathan.
And we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
So long.
What the shit was
I
that?
don't know. I'm sorry.
Be better.
Yes, sir.
Don't cry from the Mexicans. Bye.
All right, then we can stop recording right now.